Hey everybody, we have some signing news to talk about here. It is day 2 of free agency. Most of the big names are off the board, but one of the biggest names remaining that did not sign yesterday was Brandon Saad. Brandon Saad has now signed with the St. Louis Blues. It's a 5-year deal paying him $4.5 million per season. And overall, I really like this deal for the St. Louis Blues. Before we go into details, just want to ask that you hit that subscribe button and thumbs up if you haven't. It helps the channel so much and is greatly appreciated. But let's get talking about it here. Brandon Saad to the St. Louis Blues. $4.5 million per season, which I think is a very reasonable cap hit for a player like Brandon Saad, who can give you 25 goals in a season. And St. Louis needed to bring in somebody like Brandon Saad after losing Mike Hoffman and losing Jaden Schwartz in free agency. So looking at this deal as a whole, it's a 5-year deal. Brandon Saad is 28 years old, so it's not like they're signing somebody who's 30 plus to a 5-year deal. He's still only 28. Feels like he's been in the league a lot longer than that. He's been around a long time now. And but still, you know, he'll be 33 when the contract is up. That's not anything too bad. And $4.5 million per season, I think, is a very reasonable cap hit for what Brandon Saad brings to the table. Looking at the Blues, and you know, they needed to bring in somebody like Brandon Saad. This obviously, he's not the player that he was 5 years ago, but he's still a really good middle six scoring winger. He had 15 goals with the Avalanche in the shortened season last year. Over an 82 game season, you're looking at somewhere between 20 and 25 goals for Saad. And, you know, given what the Blues lost with Hoffman leaving and Schwartz leaving, they needed to inject some goals back into this lineup. Obviously, they brought in Pavel Buchnevich as well via trade with the New York Rangers, and that's a really good addition on the right side. Now Brandon Saad is a really good addition on the left side. And looking at what he brings to the table, you know, he can be a 50-ish point guy, depending on what minutes he gets, if he gets power play time and whatnot. He can play on the power play. He's a good 5-on-5 player as well. That's where I think he's better than Mike Hoffman. Mike Hoffman signed a very similar deal with the Montreal Canadiens. I would much rather have Brandon Saad than Mike Hoffman. Mike Hoffman is undoubtedly a great power play player, but his 5-on-5 game leaves a lot to be desired. He is not a good 5-on-5 player. Brandon Saad, on the other hand, is a good 5-on-5 player. He's a good all-around player. He can play the power play as well and produce. And he's just a better overall player than Mike Hoffman, who is pretty much a power play specialist, and that's it. So that's an upgrade over Hoffman. They also obviously lost Jaden Schwartz as well. But Jaden Schwartz got $5.5 million per season from Seattle. So they're getting Saad at $1 million less per season than what Jaden Schwartz got, which obviously is good for the Blues cap situation and, you know, just keeping their costs down and their salary as low as they can get it under the cap. So all in all, I really like this move. And, you know, Jaden Schwartz had a lot of injury issues. He was a good player when he was healthy, but keeping him healthy was a big issue. Brandon Saad hasn't had the injury issues and the number of missed games that Jaden Schwartz has. So I think Saad is really going to fit in nicely. They still obviously have the option of still trading Vladimir Tarasenko if they can find a deal out there. Blues have had a solid offseason, I think. Pavel Buchnevich was a really good addition to their top six on the right side. He's a guy that's definitely an injection of points into that lineup. And now they inject some more points and some more goals with Brandon Saad, and I think he's going to fit in really nicely there. So solid contract all around, good player, middle six guy who can give you solid production in that role, good goal scorer. And he's definitely going to have to produce for the Blues because, you know, they have lost some goals out of that lineup with players that have left this offseason. They are definitely going to need Brandon Saad to be Brandon Saad. And I think he will be. Again, it's not like he's old. He's still 28. He's He's a good player. He's got a lot of still offensive upside in him. He's a good all-around player, which I think is the big upgrade over a guy like Mike Hoffman, whose defensive game and overall effort level, anything other than power play, left a lot to be desired with Mike Hoffman. So I really like this for the Blues, and I think he, along with the addition of Pavel Buchnevich, has really kind of overhauled the offense for the Blues. And again, they still have the possibility of a Tarasenko trade later on in the offseason, and that could shake things up as well. But all in all, I think it's a very good deal for St. Louis. Brandon Saad gets to go play on a good team where he'll have a pretty important role on that team as an offensive player, and a very reasonable cap hit, $4.5 million. It's less than what Jaden Schwartz got paid by Seattle, so that definitely helps out the Blues cap situation, and I love this deal. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon, merchandise store, donation link, and channel memberships down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys soon.